Thailand. So this is what it looks like, and you can reuse it over and over again. And of course, that's the benefit of using the live grains versus the powdered grains, because the powdered grains is only a one-time deal. I've tried to reuse the powdered grains even more than once. It doesn't work for me. So, of course, every time you do a batch of live kefir coconut, you're also growing more of the grains, so you can sell them or you can share them with your raw food friends. But usually I would leave some of the liquid in the bottom as well. And then I would just start emptying the coconut water right in them. So this is my new batch of the kefir coconuts. And these are just raw, young green coconuts. Now, if you don't have access to them where you live, you'd be surprised. Try to go to Chinatown. And many times in the Chinatowns, they will have these for sale in a little Filipino store in the back in the refrigerator, or in a little Thai shop somewhere. So ask around. You might not have to buy it at your expensive raw food restaurants in LA or Santa Monica. You might be able to get them a lot cheaper in your Chinatown. So we're going to add all of the coconut water in here. And sometimes just from the process of opening the coconut, you get a little bit of dirt in there. Now, ideally, you shouldn't put your finger in the water because you can get bacteria in there, but I haven't really had problems with that, so I do use a plastic spoon instead of a metal spoon to stir that up, and that's all you do for that, as you've seen in the last video. Now, I can just put this like this, cover it with my cotton, and I call it my little ghost. Put my little ghost back in my house. And this, with the live grain, it should be fermenting in about 24 hours. We have a nice fizzy batch here, which we just checked before I started the video. So this is ready to go. It's going to sit for 24 hours. Meanwhile, I want to start playing with the flesh, because the point is to make the yogurts. And so I need a spoon to start scooping the flesh out. I'll be right back. It's hard to use a wooden spoon to scoop it out because the wood doesn't really give you the power to scoop, so I usually do use a metal spoon. And I just start scooping out all the flesh of the coconuts. This is to make the coconut yogurt. So I just do them all like this. I'll also add the water of one coconut or half a coconut, just depends on how thick you want your yogurt to be. So in this case, I'll put about half of that coconut water in there. And that gives some good liquid for the whole batch, and also a little bit of sugar in the coconut water. And I'll basically just scoop all of these in. Here I've got 10 young coconuts for a batch. And I'll scoop that all in the blender. And then I take some probiotics. So probiotics are the good bacteria. So just imagine there's 10 of those in there, because it'll be quite full by the time we do that. I'll be right back. So what I usually do after that is I take the probiotics, which are the good bacteria. Actually, I'll blend up the mixture first with the blender. We do need is power. So this is quite liquidy because, of course, I want to add a lot more of this coconut flesh in there. But when you add it all up, it will be quite thick. And then I would pour this into glass, which I'm going to have to find another glass container, and just take the probiotic. Hope you guys can get creative and sense it with me. Take the probiotics, put 2 of them in there, Stir it back up. Put it in a jar like this. I usually put the date and the time that I started the batch on the top of the jar because I got so many things going on, I forget what day I started what. And I just let this sit for 24 hours. And this is what it looks like when you're done. It's a nice, thick coconut yogurt. It's delicious. Now what I did is I decided to make a raw chocolate pudding. So I took the coconut yogurt and I put it in a blender with 2 bananas and some maca powder, some cacao powder, and some raw carob powder, and I blended it up, guys, and this is delicious. Really good raw chocolate treat. So a lot of different things you can do with coconuts, with coconut flesh, with kefir grains, with fermentation, with raw food. You can experiment with all of this stuff and have fun, have delicious desserts or smoothies or whatever to enjoy. Thanks, guys. See ya.